In 2025, I hit 300K a month. I hired a CEO. I grew a team from 7 employees to 40 employees. I ended up overhiring. I restructured the agency, so now it's more profitable than it's ever been. I bought a house in Spain. I absorbed an agency. I acquired an agency. I built an AI agent that's going to save us a ton of money, which is super, super cool. And I'm in the process of acquiring another agency. I also lost my father. So 2024, end of December, I hit my first 100K a month with my agency, which I'm super proud of. It took me 3 years to get there. A lot of people get to 100K a month a lot sooner, and I got to 100K a month with my second agency in 2 months because of the lessons I built. But those first 3 years were just grind, fail, figure it out, grind, fail, figure it out, grind, fail, figure it out. And then in April of this year, I hit my first 200K a month. And then in November, I'm over 300K a month with my agency. And that's super cool. You may be thinking, Jordan, from January, February, March, April, it took you 4 months to double your agency from 100K to 200K. That's super impressive. Why did it take you 7 months from April to November to hit 300K a month, where you just added another $100,000, especially when it only took you 3 months to 4 months to get there the first time? Let me tell you, in April, we scaled so fast, we hired tons of recruiting agencies. And we went from a team of 7 that was dealing with 100K a month in clients to a team of 20 that was dealing with 200K a month in clients. That doesn't really math because we went from a team of 7 to a team of 20, which is almost tripling the employee force while only doubling the revenue. So we've doubled the revenue while tripling the amount of employees. That's not very good business. And our methodology behind that was, hey, since we're scaling so fast, let's overhire just so we can be prepared for when we get past 200K a month, which is a good idea in theory. The problem is we went from managing a team of 7 to managing a team of 20, which we've never done that before. So profit got hit. We didn't understand how to manage this tripling of the team, and we've just never done it before. And we did this all while we were in the process of acquiring another agency, an email marketing agency that already had a team of 7. So we went from a team of 7 to a team of 27, which again, we've never managed before. And so it turned into this giant clusterfuck where, yeah, we were making more revenue than ever before, but we just didn't know how to handle this influx, this vast tsunami of just new employees that we had to hire. Well, in the process of acquiring this agency, and I say acquiring in quotation marks, really it was gifted to us from 2021 to 2024. We referred this guy so much business. We were probably 70 to 80% of his acquisition were just referrals from us that needed email marketing help. And he grew to about a team of 7. And what happened was his wife started posting videos on TikTok talking about telehealth, semaglutide, GLP-1. It's exploding right now. If you don't know what it is, it's like Ozempic's cousin, but just organically her business exploded. And Kyle was his name. Kyle was sort of sick of running his agency. And so he basically said, like, look, guys, I'm going to go help my wife. I have this agency of clientele. Do you want my agency? And we said, yeah, 100%. Only problem is, Kyle, we don't know how to do email marketing. We do meta ads, we do Google ads, we do YouTube ads, we do content creation for the ads, we do SEO, but we never did any email marketing. And he's like, yeah, that's a problem. And so what we did is we hired even more recruiting agencies to find somebody to essentially replace Kyle. Kyle talked to tons of people, and eventually this guy, Mike, came around. And Kyle went to us and he's like, you got to meet this guy, Mike. He's awesome. He's going to, blow you out of the water. And we're like, okay, sure. And we had a interview with him, and that's exactly what he did. He came from the biggest email marketing agency in the world, or at least one of. This agency was doing about 700K to 800K a month. So think 9 million to 7 million ARR, which was 2, 3, 4 levels ahead of us. And so eventually we agreed to hire Mike. And what happened was he took all the clients that were working with Kyle. The agency was already doing around 30 to 35K a month, keep in mind. He went to every single one of the clients. He upsold them about $17,000 to $18,000 in new services that were actually valuable to the client, not upselling for the sake of upselling, but actually delivering value. We went from like 200K a month to around 250K a month. And so funny enough, in April, we almost hit 300K a month. We went from 100K to 250K in 4 short months. And so that's a great problem to have. But just again, if you're building a Lego set without the guide on what piece goes where, you start just putting shit together and unintentionally start building on top of something that shouldn't have been built on top of. And what made Mike so valuable, since he came from one of the biggest email marketing agencies in the world, he had the blueprint of what scaling an agency looked like. He knew what a 500K a month agency looked like. He knew what a 300K a month agency looked like. He knew what a 700 to 800K a month agency looked like, because that's where he came from. And that was the knowledge that we didn't have. And so after he upsold everybody, 2 months go by and he comes to us and he's like, guys, I'm bored. What do you want me to do? Where are my new clients? And we're in the weeds of trying to manage all these new hires. Again, our profit got shot because we just hired people that we shouldn't have hired. And so Mike's like, okay, let's sit down. Let's take a look at this. And when we went over together who we hired, he would say, this person does not belong here. This person should just not be working at all. This person should be focusing on this rather they're focusing on this. And we just cleaned everything up. And 2 weeks after that conversation, Brandon, my co-founder, and I, we should probably hire this guy to run the company. If you think about that, it's cool to say you hired a CEO, but at the same time, you take an ego hit when you sort of give up your baby. If you grow up playing a sport and your dad coaches you up until, college level, high school level, middle school level, you have to take them to a coach who has trained other people. You have to let them work with somebody who specializes in your desired goal. And yes, Carbon Box Media is my baby, but it's my baby because I want to scale it to the friggin' moon. And scale it to the moon, hodl. Elon Musk holds about 3 to 5% of Tesla. Jeff Bezos, the same with Amazon. I don't have the exact, but I know it's a single numeral. And I'm not saying we're the next Amazon, Tesla by any means, but if you want to take your company to the next level, you need to bring on people that are smarter than you. And so, like I said, 2 weeks after that happened, Brandon and I, we sat down with Mike and we're like, dude, do you want to run this company? Do you want to be the CEO? And he's like, oh my God, yes, 100%. I want to do this, and this. And we made a great decision. And so looking back at, what happened when we hired too many people, we became the bottlenecks. And he had the systems that were designed to scale. Everybody says systems scale a business. What does that actually mean? An instruction manual tells you how to assemble something, but if you don't have the instruction manual, you're kind of just winging it, for lack of better words. And you can do that. I'm a big fan of ready, fire, aim, but at a certain point, it just helps to have some sort of direction or somebody that has done what you're trying to do before. And so just one last thing about April, May is we had to slow down outreach because, and this is a great problem to have, and this is a very cool sentence, we were scaling too fast. And so now we have restructured the agency. We've had to let some people go, which fucking sucks. Hate firing people. But we're paying our all-stars above market rate. And now the agency has never been more profitable than it is. And it's actually designed to scale with the team that we have in place. So now we've launched the Canon. The goal by January is to hit $500,000 a month. And I think we're going to do it. But another thing that I want to mention, and this is sort of, it's work related, but it's more so personal related. They say the first 5 years of growing a business, you have to work 10 hours a day if you even want to be, participating in the game. And I think $300K a month plus with an agency is pretty cool. But I also know that there's people doing $3 million, $30 million a month, $300 million a month. But since we've hired Mike, this absolute A player of a CEO, I've gotten my time back. So for the past 4 years, I was working 10 hours a day. Now I only need to work about 4 to 5 hours a day. I'm still working 8 hours a day. This is one of the consequences of hiring an A player, is he can just take over everything. And I don't want to say that I've become obsolete by any means, but I could go fuck off and do nothing. And I told Mike that when I hired him as a CEO, dude, I want to go live in a cave, no electricity, no phone for 6 months. And if I came out of that cave, I would want to have a conversation with you, look at my business and see it grow. And it has. Ever since I've hired him, my amount of work needed, I'm still working 8 hours a day, right? But my amount of work needed is just lowered so much. And that's why I'm recording YouTube videos. That's why I have time to actually talk about this stuff and help you grow your agency or your service-based business, because I've just made so many mistakes. And now my profitability within the agency space is top tier. It's best in class, especially while delivering a high quality of service. Like, how many people can say that they're paying their talent above market rate, their margins are super solid, and they have a business that grows without them? And that's exactly what we have. And so the problem that I'm facing internally right now is, where's my fire? I can continue to work every single day for 8 to 10 hours a day on acquisition, and I am, because I love doing this and I'm going to grow the company faster this way. Post buying my house in Spain, like mortgage, living with my girlfriend, like I live off $2,500 a month. I like surfing. I don't really need expensive watches. I'm looking at a Porsche. That'd be a sweet car to own, but I don't need, like 12 Lamborghinis. I'm very comfortable with the life I'm living, and comfortability is a killer. And I'm really doing my best to not let that kill my spark, because I don't know who you are, where you're at with your current journey, but for you to be making like multi-six figures a year, have your time back, not necessarily need to focus on a business, could go live wherever they want in the world, that's very appetizing. That is sort of the dream, no? And so that brings me to my next point with my dad passing away. And so today's November 23rd, My father passed away on November 12th, and it's gutted me. It's really hurt me, and I'm dealing with that right now. It's still fresh. I know he's looking at me from heaven right now and saying, like, what are you all sad about? I'm having a great time up here. But it just sort of happened out of nowhere. And with this mammoth of sadness that I'm feeling right now, I'm really doing my best to channel that energy into something actually productive and useful. And back in 2021, when I started my agency, I was sleeping in the living room floor. I just got done with a pretty crazy breakup. And so I was sort of, I had this, fuck everybody. I don't need anyone. I'm going to show them how it's done. Like, I'm going to show everybody. And that anger, I used that anger as fuel to grow my agency because it was extremely potent. But after about a year and a half, like, you just get over it, especially a stupid thing like a breakup. But now it's this different energy that is sadness. And just knowing that, a person so close to you, which the only person I lost were my grandparents, and I was close to them, but this is the first time I'm dealing with somebody that, I've been with my entire life, that raised me, that I was talking to on a weekly basis. And so, I don't want to sound like a sociopath, but I'm trying to give my dad the sadness and respect that he deserves, but I'm also not trying to waste this sadness by just curling up in a ball in my bed and being sad. Because, guys, if you've lost anybody, close to you, you're going to be sad regardless. You're going to be sad regardless. And so being sad it drains you. It's a tremendous amount of energy for you to exhaust. And I'm looking at this energy that's been created as a pro for me to fuel, to do even more, to build my personal brand, to make YouTube videos like this, to help agency owners, to build AI agents, to scale my agency, to check in with my CEO and team. And this is a video about, what got done in 2025, and, 95% of it is pretty badass, but this is life, and stuff like this happens, and I'm just trying to deal with it. And I thought talking about it on the video was a good idea. I don't know, what it's going to sound like in the end, but I thought it'd be important to talk about it. And this is the part where I don't know how to end the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing all right out there. Hate to end the video on a sad note.